If I were to ask you to describe for me your life at the moment with the words weary or burdened, would the words busy be those that come to mind first, or would peaceful, rest, comfortable be the ones that come to your mind first? Well, very often we find ourselves in these seasons where we are burdened, heavy laden. So nothing wrong with feeling that way. But as we talk about how to do life the way Jesus wants us to do it, how to experience life and the fullness of it, the way He leads us, I want you to spend a bit of time with me today on a very, very well-known psalm. I'm going to read it for us, and I want to lift a few things out. David writes in Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." There's a few things that are so important, especially with things that we know or well-known passages. A few things here regarding the Psalm of the Good Shepherd. David says this. He says, "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing." And then he points out a few things that this shepherd of his does. Firstly, he says, He makes me lie down. Secondly, he says, He leads me. Thirdly, he talks about the fact that He guides me. And then he says He prepares for me. Now, let me just pause there quickly. Where is God leading us? Where is our shepherd leading us? It's so important that we know as we follow Christ, as we follow His guidance, we've got to see the picture that He sees, not that we see or that we are pursuing. You see, because our desires and our wants and our needs and our dreams normally leads us in a way and to a place where it is that we have predetermined. But as we follow our shepherd, this picture that David gives you, we've got to know what the shepherd is doing. And listen to this. He says, He makes me, but He makes me lie down in green pastures. Can you see it with me? You know, these beautiful meadows and green pastures where the shepherd is leading his sheep. He also says He leads me beside quiet waters. So it's not just that He leads us to a specific place. Firstly, green meadows and green pastures, but then quiet waters. Can you get the picture? He says, He refreshes my soul. To be honest, the moment I paused here, I was reminded about a holiday that I had when I was about 16 years old. We had a tour through South Africa, and we were 4 families traveling together, and one of them, Uncle Franz, he was the one that led us all the way right throughout the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape, and he would every now and again he would just pull over to the side of the road, and then he would actually guide us, show us little things that we didn't know. For example, in the Eastern Cape, while we were going through one of the mountain ranges there, he pulled to the side of the road, and then he showed us that if you follow this little pathway here, you will get to this mountain stream. And I still remember the impact it made on me, getting to that little mountain stream, that mountain pool there, and drinking of that fresh water. But you know what? I would not have known it was there. We would have driven by, not knowing that beautiful, peaceful spot of fresh mountain water. So this is what David's saying, he leads me to green pastures, but he leads me also beside still waters, and it refreshes my soul. This is what he does. If we follow him, he leads us to a place of rest. Thirdly, he says, he guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Can you see that little mountain stream and in France knowing exactly how to get there and leading all of us? This is what our shepherd does. He says, I will guide you along the right paths, the paths you might not even know. You might not know what is around you, and these places of rest, places of beauty. He also says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, in other words, even if I face difficult situations, even if my season changes and clouds gather, I would not fear, because my shepherd knows what he's doing and he's with me. He protects me, guides me. And then David goes on to say he prepares a table. He prepares a table before me, even in the presence of my enemies. Now, there might be situations that is less than ideal. There might be circumstances where you find yourself in a place where you're not the favorite in the room, but knowing that your shepherd is there with you, guiding you, leading you, knowing that he's the one that prepares the table before you. And then David ends with this. He says, surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life. Can you see the change here? He's not leading now. He's not guiding us. He's not directing us to a place, but now he's following us. He says, goodness and love will follow me. Jesus put it this way. In one of the parables he told, he said, even if the 99 is there and there's one sheep that wandered off, he will come looking for you. So let me remind you, Jesus wants to lead you to green pastures, to a place of rest, through his Spirit, guide you to that inner sanctum where you are with him and at peace with him, where you enjoy intimate moments with him, even in difficult and challenging situations. But even when you take the wrong path, even when you find yourself in places you should not be, or circumstances where your mind is just running around and you're burdening yourself with overcomplicating things, David says he will follow you with his love and his mercy. He will pursue you and bring you back to this place of rest. I want to end this with the simple way that Jesus put it. In Matthew chapter 11, we find the same kind of an image. Jesus says this, he says, come to me, all you that are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I started with this. I asked you, where do you find yourself today? Think a little bit. Are you on the side of being weary and burdened? Or do you feel at rest, right there in the very depths of your soul, knowing that you are at a place of rest? No matter what life brings, you are at rest and at peace with your shepherd guiding you with them and pursuing you with this peace and this love. So let me encourage you today. Jesus' way for you, the King's way for you, is a place of rest. He will give us rest. So come away from your place of burden and weariness and lean into him. Come to him. He will give you rest. This is the King's way.